But what has happened is an increased concentration of law enforcement resources, dollars, police, etc., in communities of color. Still today, approximately 2/3 of those who are locked up in jails or prisons around this country are people of color, mostly African American and Latino, and only 1/3 are white.
All aspire to be LeBron or Lil Wayne. I want them aspiring to be scientists and engineers, doctors and teachers, not just ballers and rappers. I want them aspiring to be a Supreme Court justice. I want them aspiring to be the President of the United States of America.
Part of the issue of why the prison industrial complex has grown so dramatically in the last 30 to 35 years, and why it has been a phenomenon that has disproportionately trapped not only poor folks, but specifically poor people of color. We have to recognize that in 1964, we had a very significant turning point in the middle of the 1960s, whereby formal discrimination was outlawed, so that mechanism of social control known as Jim Crow was no longer allowed.
I think the way to move forward on race is to make sure that every kid from the time they're born is getting good nutrition and good education, is succeeding in K through 12, and we're opening opportunities for all young people, because when everybody's got a level playing field, everybody's competing, and we've dealt with some of the legacies of discrimination that have resulted in substandard schools or extreme poverty in some communities, then affirmative action ends up being an afterthought.
74% of all the illegal drug users are white, but we are only 10% of the persons locked up for drug offenses. Black folks are 14% of all drug users, roughly the same as their share of the population, but they are 74% of those locked up for a drug offense. Latinos are 10% of all drug users, but 15% of those locked up. If you add the Latino and black numbers together, you very quickly discover that Latinos and blacks are only about 24% of all drug users, about a quarter of all drug users, but they are 90% of the persons incarcerated for a drug offense. And